everyone. What's up? It's Ashley from Cyber Therapy, and we are here to chat about the minds or get into the minds of security and tech professionals. Today is a very special day. This is my co-host, Tyler. Tyler, would like to introduce yourself?
Howdy, Tyler Shields, CMO at Jupiter One. We have a good special. This is a little bit out of the ordinary. It's not our typical every other Tuesday time slot. We actually grabbed a special time slot for a Friday happy hour. Got myself a good glass of bourbon, and we're gonna geek out on data privacy discussions. What else? We got a bunch of topics on queue today.
Yeah, we've actually got a special game today where I think it's a little ironic since we're talking about privacy, but it's called True Confessions, where we each bring one truth, one lie, and then at the time we'll read whatever one we choose, and then the other people have to figure out if it's a truth or a lie.
I struggled with this, Ash.
Because you just like pulling stuff out of your butt.
That's no, I never lie. I
That's
never
a lie.
I never lie.
That is definitely a lie right there.
I never lie. Have you ever caught me in a lie? No.
We have talked our way around lies here.
So I'm sure my mother would disagree that I never lie, but that's a whole other problem that we can discuss as I lay on the cyber therapy couch one afternoon. So this game is going to be fun. It's a brand new, unique game that we haven't done yet. We modeled it off of the great Jimmy Fallon. He does it with celebrities. So hopefully it'll be an enjoyable game. And if it is good, maybe we'll bring it back for a regular Tuesday episode.
Woo!
Where are you today? You're coming home from your home studio. You're coming in from your home studio. I am also in my home studio today. You can see I'm not in my normal office today. So surrounded by the guitars and music and yeah.
But no cool lights. It's unfortunate.
No, I don't have the blue lights at home. Honestly, I should get a new set because quite frankly, I'm definitely too lazy to lug them back and forth. So
you just gotta spotlight your guitars back there, man, and then it'll just like spruce it up.
You know what the funny thing about those guitars is? The most expensive one I think is like $400 or $500. They're not expensive guitars. Like most of them.
All
that
matters is that it looks cool.
Is that it? It's all about show, right?
Yes.
It's all about.
You gotta have a nice background.
It's all about the sizzle, not the steak. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
No. Let's get to the steak. We're kicking it too much here. So I'd like to bring on our guest, Alya Franklin, who is working at Aleada Consulting, and she is co-founder and partner there. So Alya, sorry, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. Happy Data Privacy Day. Yes, my name is Alya Franklin, and I am a partner and co-founder of Aleada Consulting. So thank you so much for having me here today. I'm excited.
Yeah, I would love to get to know how you got into data privacy to begin with. So give us like a TLDR on where you got started and how you transitioned into, or if there was a transition. Maybe you've always loved data privacy from the beginning. I don't know.
No, actually I didn't, but I do have a background in technology, and it kind of goes back all the way to when I was 8 years old, and I learned, my mother enrolled me in a basic coding class. And so it kind of started from there. And I took a couple classes also in high school. But it really wasn't until college that I decided that I wanted to go more in the IT route. And I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I took my degree was in it was called Decision and Information Science, and so it was a combination like MIS. People have probably heard of it. It's now called Information Systems and Operations Management. But you take core classes in business, economics, business law, and then you take systems development, database design, and coding, and so. But it wasn't my degree that really got me my job. It was a job that I got in college. So when I was in school, I had all these classes and I was busy, and they require you to take some electives. And I found this class called Navigating the Internet. And I was like, score, that is like a great class to take. You know, I thought it was going to be like easy breezy.
Easy A, right? Easy A time.
Yeah. Well, come to find out, it was a class in HTML. So learning to build websites. And actually it ended up getting me my first job at school. Sure.
Did you get an A in it?
Yes, of course I got an A in it.
Okay. I mean, I just had to check because I've had those easy A classes that, I wasn't the best student in college. So those easy A's you sometimes sleep through. But anyways, continue.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was shocking though, because I was like, oh, it's not about just searching on the internet. It's actually, we actually have to build websites and learn to design them. But that actually got me interested in website design. And so I kind of it was webmaster of a couple of different organizations. And then that got me the job at a career center, where I was doing website updates and was doing IT support. And I was crawling under desks and how, people were calling me. I was like rebooting computers, I was the IT person and doing backups. But it wasn't till, I did my master's in decision information science. And one of my core programs was to build an IT ticketing request. I didn't know it at the time, but I was getting flooded with all these requests and I didn't know how to prioritize them. So I decided I'm going to build a system to allow me to prioritize and get to everybody's request, because everybody is a priority. And that's what really got me my first job, because they're like, wow, you actually, developed an IT ticketing system. We're auditors and we do this all the time. We check tickets.
Did you write the code for that, or did you end up buying one and you wrote it from scratch?
Yeah, so it
Yeah,
was built.
super impressive.
Exactly. So I mean, it was basic, but it was like, hey, you go online and then you have a form and then you submit what you want.
Gotcha.
And I was able to internally prioritize it. Now,
So
whether
so how does one jump from that? And sorry if you hear a hum, that's my garage door going up. But how does one jump from that to actually looking at like data itself, or looking at data security, or understanding data security? Because I think it's one thing to have the roots that you have. It's totally something else to have the desire to want to get into data privacy, right? Because I think a lot of, I'm not gonna lie and say it's something that like I go every day going, I need data privacy. But I think a lot of people take it for granted. How did you not take it for granted? What did you do that made you go, hey, that's important?
Yeah, well, I became an auditor. So I joined a Big Four accounting firm where talking to people about the importance of security, managing changes effectively, it was Sarbanes-Oxley audits, financial statement audits, where I started to make sure that companies were caring about, internal control over financial reporting. But it went beyond that. I started to realize that it's not just about financial data. There's personal data that we need to start protecting. So the more audits I did, the more I realized that I wanted to be a consultant to help implement change. So if I'm an auditor, a lot of the things I was doing, and I wasn't always doing audits, but 80% of the work I did at KPMG at a Big Four was providing recommendations over the audits, and then I would leave. And so I really wanted to make a difference. And that's when I joined a national consulting firm. I was in Florida at the time, and I came out to the Bay Area, to San Francisco specifically, and started an office. Yeah, so that's where it all started. I helped build the privacy team for the office out there, and did a lot of consulting work. But that's also where it sparked my interest. And I'm wearing a shirt. It's called WISP. It's Women in Security and Privacy was born after I met 7 other women that were interested. We basically saw that security and privacy were converging fields, but there really wasn't a lot of direction and career mentorship around how you get into this area. And a lot of people were lawyers and if you don't have a law degree, how do you get into privacy? So that was really what our mission was, to advance women in the converging fields of privacy and security. So that's sort of a background on how I got into the privacy field.
Nice. What continues to help that fire burn? Like, are there other things within WISP where there's I think in our pre-call, you talked about Tandem as mentorship. Like what are the things that help continue that drive to want to build awareness around data privacy?
Right. So so on a day-to-day basis, I'm considering privacy in the work we do at Aleada, but then also the nonprofit Women in Security and Privacy. That's really to build awareness for people that want to get into the field. So we have a lot of members that are in information security professionals, or they're privacy professionals. They want to learn about, both areas, or how they can be more effective in their current position, or they're trying to get into the field. So we offer programs like you mentioned, Tandem, which is connecting. It's a mentorship, it's a peer-to-peer mentorship program where people can connect and learn about what, try to get into different fields or just educate each other on, things that they've done to be successful in their current careers and make switches, or, and we also provide scholarships for training opportunities, to get certifications and attend conferences like RSA, Black Hat, DEF CON. So, even during a pandemic, that's been our, even though we do some, online events, but that's been really popular to really advance people and to build awareness in these fields, because privacy is just getting more complicated, but we also need some technical expertise in the area. It's not just needing a legal degree now. You need to get into the operations of a company to help them build those controls in order to either comply with laws, privacy laws, or just build best practices to have responsibility over data.
So there's a big difference between consumer privacy and consumer data privacy and enterprise data privacy. Is there a big difference that you see when you're talking to clients, or when you're talking to potentially businesses that have one or the other that they're trying to protect? Do they have to do different things, or by and large it's all the same stuff, you're just protecting different types of data?
I would say the latter. It really is your focus. I mean, if you're a company that's B2B, you're trying to get clients that are probably B2C. So if you're a service provider and your clients are other businesses, those businesses are likely, they're the ones with the consumer data, and they may have to comply with different privacy laws, or data protection laws. And so in order to get the work, or in order to do business development or get engaged with those businesses, service providers also have to comply with certain laws as well. So it goes both ways. So whether you're B2C or B2B, the laws still apply. It just within, say, GDPR, which is General Data Protection Regulation in Europe, there are differences in how you comply with those laws. So there are, you're a controller of the data, or you're protecting. Sure. Yeah. So there's just different ways that how you're handling and things you have to comply with.
So I follow on question this, and here's the thing, guys, for those that are watching this show, I usually don't pay any attention to our script. So hopefully Alya doesn't mind me going way off script here. Okay. So my question that I have on this particular topic, though, is you mentioned GDPR. How does the government have to truly get involved in data privacy for it to be effective? Will businesses actually care without, teeth to bite them if they do bad? And I know this is a super hard question compared to most of the ones we teed up for you, so I'm sorry I'm throwing stingers at you. But like every time I've been around this industry a long time, long time, and every time I hear about something when it comes to data privacy, people either ignored it or didn't care about it. I think GDPR is the first one where I went, holy crap, there's teeth here. People are getting smacked. They're getting bit, right? And it feels like the only way that businesses will react is when it comes to, hey, there's some negative consequences if you screw up. Is that true? Or do you think we're seeing some kind of shift where businesses are taking an ethical stance and actually looking at things and going, hey, I want to do what's right as well?
Mm-hmm. I think it's a combination of both. I think when, it really depends on where you are. There's a certain level of risk companies are willing to accept. But in order to do business, let's take GDPR, for example. So you're in Europe, you want to do market to or do business in Europe, and you're based in the US. You are subject to comply with the GDPR. If you're a smaller company, they're, the supervisory authorities or who, they may not be looking at smaller businesses, but in order to do business, you want to be able to be in compliance and you want to be able to do the right thing. And I think companies, not only just for compliance, I think there is a sense of wanting to build trust, because it can provide a competitive advantage if you're out there talking about the things you do to protect personal data. And, that's super important. I think there's an expectation of trust. When you're putting your information online, and it's not just privacy laws, but it's how you're managing and building trust so that companies will and consumers will do business with you.
So, I have a follow-on question to that. How do you help companies, like, not going to sound jaded or anything, but how, like, a lot of people will think, oh, that's just like a PR move, right? They just want to look and sound like they're doing right by the people, but are they really doing right by the people,
You're not
right?
going
So
to
how do
sound,
you?
you're not going to try to sound jaded or anything, but Ashley, you're
But I'm
jaded.
totally
I mean,
jaded.
you're totally freaking jaded.
Yeah,
Don't try to hide it.
it
How
is
do
a
you?
marketing tool for sure.
But like, how do you help them get beyond that, right? Is it just in name, or are there other practices and tangible things that they can do to show their customers, whether B2B or B2C, right, that they are honestly doing what they think is best for the company? Like, there is the ethical arm. Like, are
Right,
there
and that's
programs or
what we
anything?
do. Yeah, and that's a great question, because you could tell the audience all day, you could have a good privacy notice, you could have policies and procedures, but if you're not actually practicing what you're saying, then yeah, then obviously that's not a good thing, and you could suffer a breach, and that's when, then that's when things could go wrong. But it's up to it's that's what we do on a daily basis. We're in there with companies, and it's wanting them to establish sound practices that are sustainable, not just a document that says we do all these great things, because it evolves over time. It's just like information security.
Yeah. So
Which
go ahead, Ash, you go. I got one after you.
I was just gonna say, I don't know that we necessarily got the background on Aleada. So I actually wanted to step back
I
a
was going to ask
second
the
and
same
say,
question.
Yeah, no, I know. We
Aleada Consulting.
did have this. It was supposed to flow in some structural way, but that's okay.
Yeah, leave it to Tyler to throw off the flow.
I screw
But
everything
I
up.
think that's okay. So Aleada Consulting, we're a women-owned, minority-owned consulting firm. We're based in the Bay Area, but we actually provide services to national and global companies, and we help them build their privacy programs to comply with national and global privacy laws. But really, what I was saying about building sustainable practices so that you can build trust with your consumers, so that you can demonstrate that you're being responsible with personal data, and then also hopefully gain a competitive advantage. So even though you say it's a marketing tool, well, yeah, it's a marketing tool. And I think that sometimes that you want to get into business, you can show that you're taking that personal data seriously. It does help. And so we want to integrate privacy into the operations of companies. And it's difficult to do, but that's really what our goal is, because I care about where my data is going. And so that's why every day it's important for me, like, technology is changing and innovation is moving at such a rapid pace, and there's emerging technologies, that are happening. We need to be on top of it, and to, help companies navigate through these complicated privacy laws, but also help them do business so that they can make our lives easier too, right?
So,
That's what technology does.
So as an individual though, right? So I'm sure there'll be a lot of people watching this podcast that are individual consumers, right? That are putting their own data constantly out there every day. And I feel like the world has gone way past data privacy. The world has gone to the point where you are the product in everything that you do.
Right.
What is, and this may not be, and I know it's not where you focus your business. You focus your business on the business side of this, but do you have any high level recommendations for individuals that are looking at it going, there's a trade-off between my privacy and convenience, right? I mean, at some point, I feel like the vast number of consumers said, oh, the hell with it. I don't care. I'm just going to throw in the towel, log in through everything with Facebook or Google, give away all my privacy information to the world, and rock on. I get what I want. It's free. I get to, play my video games or connect to whatever I want to connect to. And I think the convenience is outweighing the data privacy risk for the majority of consumers. So are we seeing a shift where, okay, the consumers have essentially pledged that data privacy to the business and saying, hey, business, I'm going to rely on you not to F this up, right?
Mhm.
Because I'm going to log in through this, SSO, and I'm going to give you all my personal information, and I'm going to connect it to LinkedIn, and I'm going to connect it to whatever and have all that stuff sync up. Are we as individual consumers just basically saying, all right, it's the business's problem? And is that okay as consumers, or should we be more concerned?
Well, that's why we have things like Privacy Day or Privacy Week. I'm hoping that we're going to have a privacy month, like cybersecurity. Maybe I don't know who makes these decisions on what is but yeah, that's why we have privacy awareness. I think the number of breaches, I mean, we had a record number of breaches last year. People are recognizing that their data is out there, especially if it's social security numbers. But we do, as consumers, have an expectation of trust. We're putting our information, we're filling out forms. We're, I mean, I have things in autofill, right? You have to be careful about what I would just encourage those that, I know people don't read these privacy notices. I would encourage people to kind of skim through, and we're trying to build them in a way that's transparent and understandable. But you should know what companies are doing with your data. I mean, I think that it could stop you from actually engaging with someone if you're not feeling safe. But companies like Apple and Google, they're actually putting more information when you're downloading apps, which is super helpful. If they do it in a way that's easy to see.
Go ahead, Ash. You got one lined up?
Yeah, I was actually going to go back to when you're talking about building sustainable programs and like getting in the bowels of a company to implement them. What are some of the typical challenges that you see? Because I mean, all of us would know, like, anytime you try to change a process, especially at a bigger company, right? Like there's a lot of moving pieces that need to change. So I'm curious to know, what are the common challenges, and then how have you approach to those challenges for
Yeah,
long
I think
lasting?
sure. And that's a great question. I would say that one of the biggest challenges to implementing anything is you need to have executive or board level support that comes top down. And you really need someone in a position of authority, decision-making ability to be able to say, we're taking privacy, this is going to help our brand expand, or this is what we need to do to comply, or to actually go expand into other, geographical locations. But it really needs to be that directional, coming top down. And then from there, you need to have the right education or trained resources. So if you don't have budget, for instance, and you don't have enough to hire resources that are responsible for this, to actually educate internally and work cross-functionally across all the different areas, that can be a big challenge. And so you have someone that's in a privacy position that doesn't have the authority to go out and talk to people to say, hey, we really need to comply with these processes, build these programs, and to change our behavior by implementing privacy up front. Just like information security, people are going to say there's just a compliance burden. We don't want to do it unless somebody tells them, right? It's like, some people see what compliance is, a check the box. This is another headache. This is another, some other program that you just have to tack on. Like, how am I supposed to do my job? And so if you tell it, like you were saying, like, culture, it's hard to change culture, but it has to come from the leadership. It has to come from having the right funding, plus the right people with the education and knowledge to keep up to date with all these changing privacy laws. That's a huge one as well.
So, Ashley, do you have another one, or you want me to go?
Go for it.
All right. This is a little bit of more of a personal question for you in particular. Like, I know when I wake up every morning what I'm excited about doing for the day and what I'm passionate about doing for the day. The show with Ashley, I'm passionate about this. Every chance we get to work on the show, I get very excited. I'm not kidding.
He also gets to drink literally every time.
I also get to drink during business hours, which is fantastic as well. But what keeps you excited about data privacy, other than the fact that you make money on it day to day and you have to get up and grind at it? Are you passionate about it? What keeps you passionate about it? Is there a certain level of drive to make the world better that you see?
Yeah, I would say so. Ever since I got into the privacy field, I have actually met other professionals that are super excited, enthusiastic. I was in the audit world, governance, risk, and compliance, and I just didn't see as much enthusiasm. But in the privacy world, I think that there are other professionals that are just ready to, make a change and make a difference and stand up for our rights as individuals and what companies are doing with our data. And what excites me is I get to work with a lot of different companies and learn about their industry and their practices and hopefully make a difference and help change for the better so that our data is protected. I mean, there's so much of what you were mentioning. All our data is out there. It's everywhere. if there's something we can do to make sure those companies are managing our data in sustainable or in responsible ways, then we can get online and submit our information in a way that we feel confident that they're going to do the right thing and not, sell our data everywhere. So I think, do things in irresponsible ways. And I think the world is moving that way. But I'll tell you, my organization was super excited about Privacy Day. We've been talking about this for a month already. On Slack, there's like games and crossword puzzles and bingo and privacy
that is awesome.
Yeah, I wish we would have known that. I wish we would have known that. We could have brought a bunch of that to the show and helped you generate some interest there. But
yeah, there's games. I mean, and I think actually we're going to have a little privacy, event where we're like sharing and doing trivia. And so we do this on a daily basis, but we're celebrating it just as much. And I've never seen anybody or a team so excited about a day. I mean, there's other days.
Are these games and stuff open to the public? Like, can people just kind of jump in and hang out with you guys and just absorb all the fun?
Now that you say it, we should have opened it up to like just a big data privacy party. No, it's just internal, and these were games on Slack. So we have a data privacy day Slack channel where everybody's just been posting and having ideas and tips of the day, and just like very interesting things for people. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you remember any of the individual specific tips that jumped out at you that you went, okay, I got to remember that one? That's actually, not one I heard.
There was one actually I wrote down here that it says, as of this month, 35 states have introduced, passed, or signed privacy legislation. Of those, only 3 states, California, Virginia, and Colorado, had comprehensive privacy legislation in effect. 15 states have not yet introduced any statewide privacy legislation. So I was going to take that as my own, as if I knew that, but it was something that I was like, that's really good tip. And someone put a map and put all the colors, and it's there for reference. And so
what's it going to take to get people to wake up? What can we do? What can Ashley and I think we have a certain level of responsibility on this show to educate people, right? And we have a certain level of responsibility as a cybersecurity business at Jupiter One to help our customers learn about these types of things. What can we do as a business, short of engaging with you and spending a lot of money to build a privacy program, which we probably already have one, but what can we do? Can we roll things out in product? Can we talk about it publicly? Can we tweet? What can we do to help the charge?
Yeah, I mean, I think you could start internally by just increasing awareness with your employees, like, just like information security. It cannot be just like a 15-minute webinar that you're required to do on an annual basis. It's got to be like privacy reminders. You can do Slack channels that are ideas or like reminders. Everybody seems to be on, social media, and you can just have little reminders. And we even say like, hey, actually, one of the other reminders was like, hey, why don't you, go in and review how many marketing campaigns you're, subscribed to? Do you need to be on all of those and make sure, But I think the other thing is like
my list.
Yeah, and then I was like, that's true. I get so many, but I think the other thing is educating everyone on what their rights are. Now that California has privacy laws, like you can actually go in and request where your data is and you want to delete it, but there might be people that don't know about it. So yes, blogging, tweeting, even just a simple reminder of things that you can do as individuals with respect to those that actually have the privacy laws in place. Know your rights. I think that's really important. And all we can do is just share awareness and share tips and tricks like this in a fun way. And people will kind of take that in and use it.
Do you have a common place that you go to, or like common search terms that you usually set up for keep staying up to date on these things?
I had GDPR there for quite a while when it first came into effect, and I got so many things. That was a long time ago. But yeah, I mean, I think I stay up to date. A lot of law firms do have updated, they keep you updated. The International Association of Privacy Professionals has if you're a member, they have a good curated list that summarizes a lot of things that are going nationally and globally. And then my company, we do videos, and we have some articles that we want to do more, but we want to demonstrate that we're keeping up to date on things. Yeah, there's so much information out there, but yeah, good search terms would be, data breach is one that I think that I have on
Yeah.
there.
We've got a feed basically for all that. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's how I'm like, oh wow, I find a lot of things that come through there, through that one as well. So keeping it again updated on that.
nice. I just would love to just absorb the passion that your team has. It
For
sounds like
sure.
all of you are really awesome at like collaborating and sharing that information. So the more that that seeps out into the world, I'd love to just get a taste of it. So
Yeah, yeah. I wish that I would have taken that idea and said, let's do like whoever wants to join this Data Privacy Day party, just come in and say hi. But maybe
that's
we'll
okay.
something.
Planning
We're
for
gonna
next year. You'll have
we're gonna
time.
do that next year for sure. We're gonna do
Yes.
that next year. So I want to take a second and ask any of our viewers that are watching to feel free to put comments in there, and we'll be happy to pass them along. And also, please hit the what do they say, Ashley? Smash the like button, smash
Smash
the
the
subscribe
subscribe.
button.
Subscribe so you know when the next time we're gonna be live.
Exactly. We want to talk to you about really cool cybersecurity topics and get in deep with the people behind them. And so, yeah, please click the button, click the little reminder, the notifier, all that kind of stuff. Um, Aaliyah, what about frameworks?
Alya.
I know, but I'm going to mutilate it. That's just what I do. I screw things
Okay.
up.
It's okay.
Alia,
He used to call me
Okay.
Jenny. So
that's a whole other problem that we don't have to discuss on this podcast.
Uh-oh.
For those that are watching, we'll have Jenny on for a later episode, and you can all light into me as for calling Ashley Jenny. um, so frameworks. What are some of the frameworks you recommend to companies as a B2B organization or B2C organization? Are there certain frameworks that we have to follow? Are there certain steps that we have to do? Give us the TLDR super fast. What are the 2 or 3 frameworks that you generally say, hey, go check this out, and it's a good way to jumpstart privacy?
Yeah, sure. Well, nothing is required, but NIST has a privacy framework out there. GDPR, if you're based in Europe, it's sometimes a really good baseline. You just need to make sure if you're complying at CCPA or California or any of the other states. And then ISO 27701 is a certification, but you could use that as a baseline if you don't want to get certified. But privacy information management is another one. And yeah, I would say that, regardless of the framework, we also use Excel to figure out what data you have. A data inventory is a super easy, it's not I shouldn't say easy, but it is a very important step before you do anything for compliance. Know where your personal data is within your organization and know where it's coming from, where you're collecting data, how you're using it, the systems that you have in place, how you're sharing it, who has access to it, how are you protecting it, and are you keeping it forever? I know there's people out there that keep their data forever. And with these new laws in place, you really have to figure out, do you have the right data retention schedule in place?
So there's a certain level of expectations of asset management, in this particular case, data assets, right? Management of where they are, who can see them, the access to them, how long they stick around. So that's definitely something you guys should build up. Question I have on that though is people. Individual consumers. And I know I keep going back to individual consumers, but I think that's like, it tends to be the super pain point.
Yeah.
Most of us keep emails forever in Gmail now. It's a forever thing. Should we be purging? Should we be purging our own personal data in Gmail and GDocs? Ashley's laughing because she has emails that go back to when she was 4.
no, actually quite the opposite. I maxed out my storage, and so I had to actually delete a whole bunch. And
So
actually
I'm not going to
delete
tell you
stuff
how
that I
long
didn't.
mine go back to. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to own up to that. No way.
Okay.
So as
So they
individuals,
go
should
back
we
to when I
be
was 4 for everybody.
there you go. Should we be deleting our own stuff? Should we be cleaning our own closets, so to
I think
speak?
I think it's good to have good personal data hygiene. Where do you want your data to be, and what do are you also backing it up? I think if you're using cloud storage, that's great, but what if you don't have access to that anymore? Good to also keep, some hard drives of information, but only, one of the privacy principles is like only keep data for the purposes in which you need it for. And I think that you could apply that to yourself too. Obviously there's things you need to keep, for record keeping purposes, but do you need to keep emails forever from certain people in relationships and things that you never want to come back
But
and
I
haunt
want
you?
evidence.
I need to delete all my emails from Ashley. I'm going to do it right now. That's
Well,
mandatory.
Yeah.
Yes, lucky you. I have kept mine because
Oh,
there's always
blackmail.
two sides to
Yeah,
this.
I
Okay,
know you're going to blackmail me
sender and
someday. I got
receiver.
it. You're going to threaten me. I got it. What else do we got? What else do we got for our guest today?
I asked the harder ones, the ones that I thought were hard, like dealing with perception and sounding super jaded about data privacy practices and whatnot. Because I'm going to be honest, there's a part of me that's like, my data's out there anyways. Like, why do I need to
That's
care?
the
Right?
fatalist in us, right? I have the
It
same
is.
problem, right? That's the I'm already toast.
Sorry,
right?
Alya.
No,
But
I know. Well, I
how do
heard
you combat that as
Yeah.
a data privacy expert, as a person? Cultural distribution of your job is cultural shift in some ways, right? How do you combat the fatalistic view of it's already out there, I'm toast anyways, I just give up?
Well, I actually heard, I can't steal this quote, but I heard it on an event earlier today that said that privacy is not dead, it's hiring. So I think that, everybody should take ownership. I mean, data should be ours, but you should also take responsibility of what you know that you're putting out there. And really, it's your data, but it's also up to you what you're putting out there. And I would just, take a concerted effort to just be mindful of that and to know exactly what companies are collecting. And if you feel like you're filling out a form and you're putting in way more information than you think you need to, pause and really think about it, whether you want to engage, because you don't want companies to collect more than what they need for whatever service they're providing or products they're providing.
The thing is, like, single sign-on and stuff just makes it so easy.
It makes it so easy,
Right?
but it also adds so much risk because everything's
Yeah.
interconnected. Every time I log into something, like, I signed up for I got an Oculus last weekend, 2 weekends ago.
Oh, nice.
I signed up for this MMO game the other day, and I signed up and I connected with, I don't remember which one, like I think it was Facebook's password or whatever. And it's like, Facebook or this wants access to all your photos, all your media, all your blah, 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 blah.
And wants to
And
be
of
able to
course-
post on your behalf.
Right, because what they want to be able to do is give you the ability to share all that stuff in real time with people inside the MMO and, to play with your friends and blah, blah, blah. So I get the value they're trying to derive from it, but simultaneously, like, they can invade all of my private information that I have in Facebook, just like that. Like, It's just such a difficult thing to tackle as an individual because I want to play that game and I don't want to wait 10 minutes to type it and create brand new accounts and not have it SSO'd and all that. The convenience trade-off is real. It's just a difficult scenario. And I think individuals have to thoroughly understand what they get on that trade-off. And I don't think many people do. Even people who do understand it, who've been in the industry for 30 years, don't necessarily, put in what needs to be done. So I think this is, for me, a call to awareness, a call for people to do better, a call more than the individuals, but for the businesses to do better by the individuals, right? And not just, not just screw up and continue to leak all this information on breaches every single week as they did in 2021. So that, I think, is what I would expect to be the positivity coming out of this day, is the call to arms for consumers to hold the feet to the fire of the vendors in this particular case. So Oculus, Facebook, don't screw me up on this one. Come on.
Yeah, and I think, I commend Apple. They have made concerted efforts when you're in the app to share in a very, in a format that you can see what data is being collected and shared and all of that. But also you can now delete accounts through it, instead of if you remove your app from your phone, your account may still be out there with that company, but now you have the ability it will delete your account as well when you delete the app off your phone. And I think that that's good because it gives you some comfort, like, well, I don't have to go and figure out some way to delete my account if I no longer want to have that, use that app for anything.
You're making me think of the plant app that I downloaded when I got my succulents to remind me to water them. And then
there's succulents, Ashley. You don't need to water them.
I know, but lo and behold, I've killed one of them already. I got them in November. Yes.
Who kills a cactus?
I don't know.
I've done that.
You literally can put them anywhere outside and forget about them for months and come back, give them a little bit of water, and you're good to go. How do you kill a cactus?
I think it may have been overexposed to sun because I have big windows in my living room, and so I had them out by the window. But apparently they're not going to supposed to get a lot of direct sunlight. So, anyways, I have
Little
this.
do we know, Ashley. Little do we know that that actual planter behind you used to have leaves all over it. But you know,
Actually, the number one way to kill succulents is if you overwater them. That's what I did. So you think they need more water than they actually do, you can kill them.
Okay. Well, I mean, I only watered it twice, so like once in
Okay.
December and then
That
once
could
in
be also
January.
underwatering could also be.
See, so I don't know. All I know is like, oh, these lower leaves are turning lighter green. They're dying. So
So
I probably
I'm
should
going to
put
put in
them.
a special request to change the logo to a plant going forward, because clearly this is a topic that we really like on the cyber therapy show. We're going to call it cyber succulents. I don't know what we're going to call it, but there has to be something. All right. I'm going to drive this one to the next level and say, I think it's time we kick
Play
in
our
and
game?
Let's do the
play our
game.
game.
Yes.
For those of you that are new to our show, we do a game at the end of every episode. We've been changing the game around, and we've been experimenting. We've done things such as music trivia. We've done Would You Rather. Ashley comes up with these games, and sometimes they're phenomenal. Most times they're phenomenal, and sometimes they're not so phenomenal. So I'm hoping this one knocks out of the park. What do we got for today, Ash?
Okay, so this one is inspired by True Confessions from Jimmy Fallon. All of us came prepared with one truth and one lie. And what we're going to do is take turns around. We'll start with Alya. She can choose whichever one she wants to share.
No, we got to pick a number.
Okay, fine. Assign your statements 1 and 2, and then we'll choose one. And then Tyler and I will have 60 seconds to, that reminds me, I need to turn this on. 60 seconds to interrogate you, ask you questions about your statement, and then by the end of it, figure out if it's true or false. It's truth or lie. So, what number do you want to go with, Tyler?
You pick.
I'll go with number 2.
No, bad choice. I want 1.
Oh my gosh! Of course.
No, 2's fine. Well, 2's fine. 2 is my favorite number. We're going 2.
Good. Okay. So I social engineered my way into a World Cup game while in Russia without having a ticket.
Who was playing?
Morocco versus Iran.
Who won?
Iran did.
What was the score?
Oh, this was back in 2018. So I.
All right, hold on a second while I Google that.
Search.
Not allowed.
We can go and.
All right. What are the team colors for Morocco?
Well, that's a good question. Red and green.
Okay. How did you social engineer your way in? Like, how did you do it?
So when you go to a World Cup game, you have to show 2 forms of identification. One is a fan ID, and the other is your ticket, and they have to match in order to go in. And your fan ID is like your passport or your visa to get into the country. I didn't have my ticket, but I had my fan ID, and I had to use someone else's ticket to get in, and they stopped me. And luckily I had a Russian speaking business partner and close friend with me that was able to talk our way into getting in. And I just slipped in while she was speaking.
Oh, so at the end of the day, you just
it.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right.
That's
Ashley,
like the stuff that I only see in movies.
It's like Catch Me If You Can, straight up.
Yeah.
All right, Ashley, we gotta make.
I was gonna say it was a lie up until like.
So was I up until the end, and now I think it's totally truthful. Like all of that stuff about like the
2
visa
forms of identification. Yeah,
I mean, those
real.
details are just amazing. So that has to be real, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I just feel bad that I don't remember the colors because it was 4 years ago, and I was like, oh, I should know this. My best friend's gonna kill me. She's from Morocco.
All good.
All right, we got 1. You and I, Ashley, you and I have 1 point.
Woo! We're not playing for points here. It's
yes,
just
we
for...
always play. No, we always play for points. Everything's a competition with me. Come on.
All right, Tyler, you got yours labeled as 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I'm not going next. You are.
What? Me?
Yeah,
okay.
You.
Okay.
Number 1, actually. Number 1.
Yes, I vote 1 as well. Let's go.
I once was robbed as a bank teller.
Ooh. Okay, start the timer.
Oh, yeah.
What is the protocol when someone pulls a gun on you as a bank teller?
First of all, don't be a hero. Second of all, you follow what they want you to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it's clear, then you press the button to alert the officials to come, like police and everything to come.
Were you
That's
Okay,
like
able
so
in a
how did
nutshell.
it? Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Were you able to push the button?
Yes.
What did they do? Hand you a note?
Yeah, so they were in shades. They had a bomber jacket on and they had their hand in their pocket. And so they started off by basically rattling off a social security number that was not theirs. Because when I looked it up, it was like for a 2-year-old, the account. And so that's when he gave me the note and the bag and was like, the note basically said, "Don't be a hero, and give me all your money." And so your usual protocol is to take your top drawer and give it
All
to them.
right.
And
Alya, what do you think?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I
That
don't
doesn't
either.
happen.
I think
That's a
she's
lie.
full of shit, and I'll tell you why. Because they're going to tell you to hit the button as soon as you humanly can to alert everyone that you can. You're going to have a secret button underneath. She also didn't get into anything about the exploding dye packs, which I imagine would have been 100% protocol. Make sure you get an exploding dye pack in there. I call BS through and through.
no, it's true.
Oh,
It's on
no.
my resume and it's on my LinkedIn, by the
Wait,
way.
is it on the
Just
resume
FYI.
you gave me?
Yes, and it's also on my LinkedIn. It's been on my LinkedIn since like forever.
I guess I never
Uh-oh.
read it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but so part of protocol is you take your whole top drawer, and your top drawer usually has the exploding packs in it. But I gave you the TLDR version of what protocol is, and you're actually not supposed to press the button until it's safe to do so, because
Oh, of
oftentimes
course.
if the robber sees that you're trying to press the button, that's mayhem can ensue
Gotcha.
because they
They go
know the button
bonkers. Yep.
exists.
All
So
right. All right. So we did not get points on that one.
Mm-mm.
All right. Is it
Well,
my
good.
turn now?
yes, Melissa called it as truth. So thank you, Melissa.
One listener
right.
got it. All right. One
Um,
or two.
What do you want, Alya?
Let's go 2.
Okay, I'm good with that.
All right. All right. You ready?
Which of
I
your 5 lies is this?
I once got a hug from Adam Savage from Mythbusters. And the truth is, I'm not lying. He smells.
Oh, I need to start the timer.
What did he smell
No.
like?
Like exactly like you might think. He's stinky BO.
When did this happen?
I can't remember the exact year. It's got to be.
How old were you?
I'm going to say around 2015, which would put me at 30. No.
Why
40?
were you hugging Adam Savage? What was it, an event or what was it?
It was at an event. Yes.
What event was it?
I don't remember. It was an event put on by a vendor, I believe.
Did you answer why you were hugging him?
What's that?
Yeah, why were you hugging
Why
him?
were you hugging him?
To say hello and greet him. How are you? Kind of hug.
What was he wearing?
Oh, you're on casual terms with Adam Savage? That's got to be a lie. That's got to be a lie. I mean,
Yeah.
I might believe the smelliness part, but
What was he wearing? Do you remember?
I'll give you even an extra 5 seconds. He was wearing, no, I don't remember exactly what he was wearing, but I'm pretty sure he had on that goofy hat he always wears on the show.
that goofy hat he always wears on the show.
Yeah,
I'm
he
still going
wears
to say
like,
this is a lie.
okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not
I'm going to say
convinced
this is a
either.
lie.
Yeah.
Y'all think it's a lie, huh?
Yeah.
You're wrong. It's the truth.
Ah!
Wow.
We were at a conference together and I was speaking directly before him. And I came off stage, and actually we met in the green room before my speech, if I recall correctly. We greeted each other. He signed a DVD for me of I forget what season of Mythbusters it was. He gave me a big old hug and wrapped his arm around me, and we were cordial. And for about 2 hours that day, my entire shoulder stunk. True story. I'm not gonna lie.
Sorry. Okay. Wow, you really had me for that, man. Leading up to this, you're like, oh, I got so many lies to tell. Which one do I tell?
I got another one. You want to do another one with me? I have another really good one.
Okay.
Yeah. Do one more minute. We have time. It's only 50 minutes
Okay.
into the show.
Yeah,
We got
yeah,
time.
yeah.
All right. We'll do my other one.
Let's go.
I'm
Okay.
not going to, because I also am not going to tell you that I didn't necessarily do one truth, one lie. I did
I know
just
you just
good
had
stories.
5.
Yeah, I got a bunch of good stories, and I figured you'd just pick the good ones.
Okay.
All right, here's you ready for this one?
Yes.
I am an old school raver from the late 90s. Love EDM music, and I met Skrillex in Copenhagen.
What other EDM artists do you like?
From the 90s, Paul Oakenfold. Goodness gracious, I can't even remember. Let's see, it was Oki was good. K-Oki was good. I used to be into Crystal Method and Prodigy a lot.
Do you know Above and Beyond?
Never heard of them.
When did you see Skrillex?
Skrillex. I met Skrillex in Copenhagen in roughly 2013, 2014.
Wow, so you were raver into your almost 30s.
No. I stopped raving way earlier than that. I met him later, but I am a fan of Skrillex separately.
Oh, okay. Can you repeat your whole sentence again?
Yeah,
I'm an old school EDM guy and raver.
Okay,
and
that's true.
And I met Skrillex in Copenhagen.
I think it's true.
You think he is a raver, though? I think he's into EDM music, but I don't know if he's a raver.
Well,
time's up.
He said he used to be.
Just true. Okay, we're gonna say it's true. It's probably false, but it's true. We're gonna go with
the final answer.
Yes.
Well, Carter Hesterman says it's a lie in our chat, and Carter Hesterman would be wrong. It is true. 100% true. You guys got it.
Wow.
Yeah, you guys got it. When I lived out in the 20s, I lived out in Silicon Valley. Carter says one does not walk away from raving. I did. I crawled away from raving, Carter. When I lived out in Silicon Valley in the 90s, one of my best friends out there was a DJ at one of the local nightclubs in San Francisco. So we had free entrance everywhere. So instead of paying like $50 a club to get into all these clubs, we would just club hop to all the best parties and raves and all the underground stuff that he would DJ at, I would go to. So I guess technically I'm an old school raver. I met Skrillex in Copenhagen, randomly walking down the street to my hotel. And this Mercedes bus, like SUV bus looking thing, pulls up and he hops out and I'm like, hey. And he stops and he goes, hey. So you're Skrillex. And he goes, yeah. I said, are you playing? I said, are you playing here? And he's like, yeah, I got a show tonight. And I said, are there tickets available? He goes, I think so. I go, cool. I'll see you there. He goes, sounds good. And he goes inside. I walk in and I get on the little computer terminal in the lobby of the hotel and I buy Skrillex tickets, and I saw Skrillex in Copenhagen.
Wow, so lucky and opportunistic right there.
So random. What can I say?
There, yeah.
Nice.
Awesome.
So there you go.
Okay.
I could do this game forever. I have so many
you
crazy
have a lot
stories.
of good stories.
I want to do more of this. You should have a show just on this game.
All right, I'll give you one more, but we won't do the full 1 minute. How about that? This is the last one, though.
So what do you want me to reset it to?
Nah, don't reset it to anything. We'll just whatever. I once hacked into the office of the President of the United States of America, and they gave me a Christmas ornament as a thank you.
I'm just gonna say a lie.
So I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say it's true, because I vaguely remember you saying you got a Christmas ornament.
All right, for those of you on the chat, go ahead and chime in with questions. I'll take questions from anywhere for 46 seconds.
Which president? Part of an engagement?
It was.
That you were.
It was during an engagement. It was during an engagement, a pen testing engagement, and the president at the time was George W.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, then if you were engaged by the White House to do ethical hacking, maybe it is true. So it wasn't. It was ethical, and it wasn't.
What does the Christmas ornament look like?
It's round, made of fake gold, obviously, but gold, and has like, it's almost like a snowflake looking thing with a a crystal, not a crystal, like a clear acrylic middle that says like White House ornament and the specific year.
Oh,
Carter's
fancy.
saying truth.
I'm gonna say it's truth also.
Yeah, I do too.
And if you have it handy, I'd like to see it.
I don't have it handy. It's
Oh,
packed
bummer.
upstairs. It's packed
Okay.
upstairs. But I did not get that from the president. I actually purchased it myself. I did hack into the president's office, and what I got was not a Christmas ornament, but instead, in 2003-ish, whenever I did it, I got these presidential M&Ms,
What?
which are almost 20 years old, and I still
And you-
have them.
There's
You
still
just
some in that
haven't-
box.
They're still in the box. The M&Ms are still, I don't even know if I can open it. It may fall apart. Oh, dear God, I should throw that away. Look at that.
What?
They're 20-year-old M&M hunks.
Wow. And you
There
just
you
have that
go.
sitting on your desk?
I had it up in my liquor cabinet. When I went up there to get the whiskey out for the show, I was like, oh yeah, that's a good truth or semi-lie thing that I could put in there.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Way
I
to
have
go.
presidential
As Carter's-
M&Ms from the George W. era.
Yeah.
Weird. Carter says
weird
weird
flex.
flex, but I respect it.
it.
All right, that's the end of our show. Ashley, thank you so much. As always, Alya,
Yes.
thank you. I enjoyed spending some time with you, getting to know you, getting to hear a little bit about the story. As we wrap up here, can you tell people the website to go find your consulting firm?
Yes, it's Aleada, ALEADA.co. And then Women in Security and Privacy is wisp.org.com. And you can join us on all the social media as well. We don't really have member anything. So either one of those, please. And thank you for having me, and happy Data Privacy Day or happy Data Protection Day, depending on where you're located.
Well, thank you for coming on. Thank you for telling us your story. And thank you very much for being so passionate about something that a lot of people struggle with. So thank you very much. All right, Ashley, get her the hell off of my show.
All right. We're moving
Thank
you
you, guys.
backstage. Thank you.
All right, Ash. That's
All
another
right,
one in the books.
Yeah. This is our first special. So this is a very special episode because it is our first special. So thank you for joining in and tuning in. We will resume our regular program this coming Tuesday, which is February 1st. And we will be having Nick Dowman and Professor Margaret Heel from NC State joining us. So be sure to tune in Tuesday, 5 p.m. Eastern. YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, and
Hit
Twitter.
the like button. Hit the subscribe.
Follow us.
All of those.
Whatever social media that you typically follow us there, and we will make sure to be live there, or at least put
Absolutely.
notifications that we're there. So
Thank you, Ashley.
all right. Thank you, everyone.